Yo, welcome back to another episode of Unapologetically Black. I am your host, Rich. What up, those folks out there in Facebook world? Um, Brittany and Jamal are having technical difficulties, so they're gonna jump in midstream to get everybody rocking. But we got a gang of people tonight, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a lot of stories, a lot of fun. How y'all doing tonight?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah, feeling good.
Okay. Every episode we start off with a mental health check-in. So go ahead while introducing yourselves tonight. Let us know how you're doing, how you feeling, and where you at. You can go ahead and start us off, Shay.
Well, I'm Shay. On the interwebs, I go by Avatar Shay. I'm good. I just started a new position. I go to therapy like every other week. I'm about to go to Costa Rica this Saturday, so I'm good, real good.
Yeah. What about you, Dolphins? How you
I'm
feel?
good. I got some plans in motion, so everything's going like it should be. I'm Linnell, originally from Bama, but currently living in Cali, so not too bad.
That's bad. And then we have a special guest tonight, folks. My wife has joined us tonight, and she gonna introduce herself.
I'm Brittany, and I'm doing pretty good. Just got off from work, ready to get this done.
That's what's up. So I'm doing good. Nothing new, same shit, different day. But tonight we're going to talk about a little bit of different stuff. We went so far this month we've talked about how the military stands from a female's perspective. Then we got it from a male's perspective. We've got it from senior leadership perspective. Today we're going to kind of talk about mental health awareness inside of the military, along with maybe getting perspectives from the NCO level. All of us here at one point were NCOs, so try to get it from like that middle area, um, just to talk, give advice to those that may be listening, those that want to join, those that are still in, to see how they can fix certain stuff. So I'm gonna start off with the generic question, and y'all can just jump in and answer. Uh, have you faced any issues, or do you believe that the military might cause a lot of mental health issues?
Absolutely,
You got to explain.
absolutely.
You got
Um,
to explain.
yeah, I mean, I was planning it too. It's like where to start. Um, I was so I never made it to NCO.
Mm,
Quite frankly, I didn't. At one point, I strived for that, but it was just best for me to get out before my mental health got too bad. I came in 11, and I was stationed at I did basic and AIT in Jackson, and then I was stationed in Campbell. I was in Curry, it was like 4th Brigade, and then we transitioned to 3rd Brigade on my way out. When I got there, my unit was coming back from a deployment. When I was leaving, my unit was going to a deployment. So here I am, this fresh face who's never been deployed, coming back from being integrated into this unit. Who for one, I'm attached to infantry, like, and then I ain't got no badge, nothing. Um, and it was me and my friends, we had been on Rare D for like 3 months before everybody got back. But when they got back, stuff just changed. Like, it was just an instant us versus them kind of thing. I also
Okay.
dealt with like sexual assault stuff while I was in the military. Um, my unit was just my unit was just terrible, terrible. As far as
On
like
on
leadership and
what
stuff went.
level would you say, on the like on maybe on the NCO level, or was it trash from the very top all the way down?
I'm gonna say from the NCO level.
Okay.
I mean, when you're a support unit attached to an infantry unit, you don't got much clout. Like, you don't have much say. You going along with what what the boys out there is doing. And so it's a lot of stuff we shouldn't have been involved in or doing for them. Um, a lot of stuff they was able to get away with that. I'm talking about the infantry guys themselves as
Mm.
like clients we were serving in the motor pool, and then a lot of just our NCOs within the unit were not very. Uh, they were power hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like, real power hungry. We had some good ones. I'm not. We did have some good ones, but overall, the unit was just not. good.
Okay. What about you, Dawkins? Any experience on that?
Yeah. Being an NCO in the last unit I was with, it was all chaos. It was they want you to be your NCO, but the moment you start trying to drop a hammer, that favoritism kick in. Certain people get their way, or Junior Marines get treated better than others.
Mm.
It was chaos. Like you're there to do a job, and it's hard to do that job when you can't have the assistance that you need from all levels. So some people won't take you serious because they know they can go to their favorite higher up or somebody else and complain to them, and that kind of starts messing with you. Like, they don't know what I want to do now.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest issues that, especially at my last unit, that I would see a lot. It's like I can be like, hey, go, I want this to happen. I want y'all to do this, do that. Like we're gonna clean this over here. We're gonna do this. And the moment they feel like, oh no, that's too much, they be like, oh, they don't tell them. They just gonna sneak right behind you. Hey, Gunny, Sergeant Clem wants to do this. He wants us to do that. Like he wants to clean this and do that. And she coming like, oh no, we're not doing none of that. Well, damn, just snatch all my power away. And you know what I'm saying, and just let them believe like, oh damn, okay, we ain't really got to listen to what he say. To an extent, we really ain't got to do nothing. We can just, whenever we don't like it, we can just go run over there to her. But see, for me, what that did was that bred like I got frustrated with those higher than me. But I'm not one to shy away from that. I'm gonna tell you like that's stupid. Why would you do that? But then I started getting myself in trouble because now I'm at odds with them. But the thing is for me, I'm like, well, you don't write my fit reps, like you don't write my reports when it comes to me getting promoted. You have no say so in that. But my unit was such a small unit that they kind of did by just putting, they go up to him, they're like, oh, we don't think this, or we think he does this or that. And then the RO or whoever the officer in charge would listen to that shit. And he'd be like, oh, since I don't work with you personally, which was another issue. That's a whole nother rabbit hole I can go down. Because the officer that I report to doesn't even work with me. So he just go off of the word of the staff NCOs that I work with and just go off of what they say. But then they only listen to what the Junior Marines say. So they've effectively cut us out. And it was my last 2 years in, I would say, where my mental health was tried the most. And I prided myself on nah, I'm like, man, suck that shit up, bro. Like, you need go medical for what? Bring your ass in. Dawkins, I worked with Dawkins in Okinawa. It was at work, like, oh, we want to go home. You don't have a fucking home, nigga. Like, we're here. Like, we're at work. The end. But it wasn't until I got to that unit though. I'm like, bro, I want to go home. Like, I'm sick of this shit. Like, what time is? If I was able to go home, I went home. Like, I don't want to be here a minute longer than I have to. And that's when I knew, like, okay, yeah, bro, it's time for you to start transitioning your way to the other side.
What is it about that mentality of like we just gonna stay here forever? What is that that's appealing to y'all as NCOs?
I would say it's not an NCO thing, it's a Marine thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens in the Army too, though. Is what I'm saying. Like that. No, we're gonna stay here.
They got problems at
this.
home.
Say again.
They got problems at home.
That's what it sounds like, right?
It is. You don't want to go home. You got problems at home you don't want to deal with. So then you sit here and bullshit with us. And I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Just let us go home.
Let us go home.
Let us go home. You don't want to deal with your wife or your husband, but now we got to deal with your disgruntled ass. For what reason? And I think that was the case for a lot of the stuff in Okinawa.
Mm-hmm.
And Okinawa, we dealt with because we were so close to each other. Any and everything was a problem because you live, sleep, eat with these people, which was a problem for a lot of our mental health there. But then my unit, what that I went to back in the States, I was like, this is a 9 to fucking 5. I'm not getting ready to sit here with y'all motherfuckers. They would tell me straight up, "Hey, look, you got Marines in the barracks. No, you got NCOs in the barracks. Once I leave base, I'm not coming back." Because one thing I used to tell people is, I'm not gonna kill myself for the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps ain't gonna kill themselves. If something happened to me today, that's it. They gonna continue. They're not gonna have no memorial. So why I gotta keep messing with my mental? Cause y'all wanna be disgruntled and not go home. Not doing that. I like my husband.
So me and my wife have actually had this conversation before, right? And I understand that perspective, right? Of like, hey, like, just want to go home. Like, let's do our job and then leave. But it comes to an area where, as an NCO, you're held responsible for certain things that happen, right? So even if I let, they clean, they do this, they good, and I say, okay, hey, y'all go home, you good for the day, right? But then, Gunny calls me and says, hey, did you know that we went through the rooms and Lance Corporal so and so failed his room inspection because he has dirty drawers laying in the middle of the floor, or he has a grill with coal under his bed? These are not exaggerations either. These
I
are
mean, I don't think they exaggerate.
like, hey, did you know that you have a Marine who has 57 pizza boxes in his closet? And the Marine lives next to a trash can. Now, they didn't call the Marine to ask him why that happened. They didn't do none of that. They called me and said, hey, why is this happening? So now I have to come up with an answer, because me saying I don't fucking know is not a good answer. So I have to come up with an answer. So I have to leave my family from what I'm doing to come over here and address this. Well, we do certain things to try to prevent that from happening as much as possible. You want to know why field day is 2.5 hours long? Because every time I walk in here, someone else's room is filthy. So what we like to tell our Marines is, if you police your own, if you Lance Corporals get your other Lance Corporals and PFC shit together, when we come through, we won't be here all day. If you do what we ask you to do the first time, we won't be here all day. But they don't, because a lot of them think about, damn, how can I cut this corner? How can I cheat this? How can I cheat that? And for us, it's a thing of, yeah, that might be fine in garrison because it's a 9 to 5, right? But what happens when we go to the field and you half-ass a recipe, or you half-ass clean this, and somebody gets sick? We can't just get up and go to medical then, because now we're in theater. So and if you keep that mentality the whole time, when you get to theater, nothing's going to change. You're going to be just as lazy. You're going to be just as, I want to go home, just as whiny and just as complaining. Like, we have a phrase, embrace the suck. We understand
Yeah,
that
we do too.
we understand that the shit is terrible, but that doesn't mean I want to hear you bitch and whine about it. And that's what, and I understand that a lot of them are young, so that's what they're going to do. I did it. 19 PFC, fucking Lance Corporal. I bitched about a lot of stuff. And it wasn't until I was actually held accountable for shit that I'm like, damn, I see what I put them through. You know what? Let me see what I can do to kind of make things not change a little bit. We changed the way things happen. Like, there were certain things that, the way ladies wore their hair ties, we let that go. The way certain Marines do stuff when it comes to field day, leaving their own blankets. Like, when I came in, there was no having my own blanket, my own nut. It was straight whatever fucking barracks gave you. That's what you slept on. And your room was clean all day. Not I'm in here. Like, no, like, that shit's clean all fucking day. And so a lot of the shit we try to keep, because what it does is it prevents people from being what's the word?
Complacent.
But does it though? So like, I reached specialist, right? And if I'd have stayed in longer, I could have been a sergeant. But for stuff like this, I just don't want to. The logic is not logicking. It does not. It literally, hearing what you're saying and being on the experiencing end of it, and knowing, like, I got friends that still to this day ain't got their shit together, because that's just who they are. Like, some is always gonna be them privates, them PFCs, and Lance Corporals, whatever. There's once you an adult, you're an adult, and we can try to police you up all we want to in them barracks, but you wouldn't. I hung out with so many dudes. That's how I know your stories is not you're not lying. Like, because the stuff that I experienced in the barracks or seeing or just hearing when they did inspections is like, what are we doing? But it be the same people over and over again. So it's like, you having me here. I've been at the motor pool since 5 a.m. What am I here at 7 p.m. for? Because we did our job. It's not gonna stop the mess ups from, you know what I'm saying, from doing what they do.
Right. It doesn't stop, but we try to mitigate as much as possible. It does not stop. You always had that 10%. I had one motherfucker, and Dawkins know this story. I had one motherfucker always faithfully. She's gonna fuck this up. She's gonna fuck this up. It don't matter what's going on. It's something as simple as make pancakes. You pour hot water in the pancake batter. A common sense person be like, bro, why would you do that? If I say, hey, go pan off the soup, a lot of people know it means to actually put it in a soup bowl so we can serve it to people. No, she took the bag, sat it on the pan, and just left it.
She had the soup bowl. She had it. She had what she needed.
Or when we do stuff over and over again, like make rice, right? And we make rice is a very basic fucking concept. And she's the only person who doesn't know how to do it. So I understand that those people will always be those people, but at the end of the day, I'm still held responsible for the one that won't get her shit together, or the ones that will not get their shit together. I'm still responsible for those people. And I understood this later on as I went on. When you come in at 18, a lot of them are coming from homes where they didn't learn this shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't learn how to wash my own clothes until after I joined, because I never had to do it. I was privileged enough to where my grandmother always washed my clothes. She separated them, she washed them, she did it. All I had to do was fold them up and put them up. But when I joined, I'm trying to figure out why all my clothes is red and fucking green, because I didn't pour bleach into everything, because that's the shit. I thought it was just throw this bitch in the washer, pour some bleach on it, soap, and now my Power Ranger shirt is pink and white and yellow and green at the same time. And now I'm confused. They don't know a lot of shit. I had a kid who didn't know. He had no idea how much money was in his bank account. This motherfucker was just swiping his card and prayed that it went through. Because he did. No one ever. He said, "Son, I think he's from Kenya." He said, "No one's ever taught me. I have no idea. No one's ever taught me that."
But that's leadership. That's also falls on the higher leadership. When I was in the schoolhouse, I had a gunny. Actually, Mayfield was one on two. They taught us how to do stuff and manage our money. They were the ones that would say, "Hey, look, don't go out and buy the stupid shit. You don't need a TV right now. You don't need to do this. Work in stocks, work in bonds, do things like that." I had my gunny walk me through the stuff. For the longest, I think 2 years, I didn't pay for shoes out of my paycheck. I bought stock in Nike, and when I would buy it and sell it, I would buy shoes. They bought themselves, but they taught us that stuff. But people don't want to listen, because everybody that comes in, they want to play the mommy daddy game of, oh, well, she just act like she know everything. Oh, this person just want to be the boss. They want to be power hungry. They want to this. It's not that. We're trying to teach you, stupid, and you don't want to listen. I had a Marine who refused to listen to me. And when she got in JP, she came to me and said, "Well, Corporal Mac, why didn't you tell me?" I said, "Stupid, I did. I told you. Don't do that." But you don't listen. They don't listen. And I get what Rich is saying. I came in at 24. So a lot of the stuff, I had been to college. I had been on my own for a while. I had done all of that. So the hype wasn't, oh, I can drink all day. I can drink all night. Because I didn't care. I had already did that stuff. I think that 18 is very young to tell people, hey, let's throw you into these organizations. because they don't know what they're doing. And the younger that, I mean, the longer the time frame go, the worse that they get.
Mm-hmm.
I had Marines who wouldn't clean their room because they felt like, well, this is my space. No, it's not your space. This belongs to the Marine Corps, just like you belong to the Marine Corps. Now, do what we say, and so we can go home. Have your camis. I had a Marine walk around with paint on his camis for 3 weeks. I told this bastard for 3 weeks to put his go get camis. Then I look and I say, you don't even have name tapes. That's the first thing they teach us. Name tapes on your camis. Why? I had to walk him to the PX, order the stuff. When they came in, take them back, take them to the lady, let them sew them on, make sure they didn't have anything wrong with them so he could be good. There's no reason I should be walking you through that. Your higher ups should have done that stuff when you came through boot camp, when you come through the schoolhouse. Those things should have been taught. And it's common sense. A lot of people
That's
don't have common sense.
that's what I think. That's what I think maybe needs to be changed or something. I don't know how it would, but like the basic training school after school, because I don't think y'all call it AIT, should be longer or different, like, or they should incorporate some type of life skills, something for that fact, because what like the I understand what Rich is saying as well, but it also contributed for me a large part on why my mental health was shit when I was in. You know what I'm saying? Being held over constantly for stuff that's not my fault. I'm at work all day. I get home and I have barely time to do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Before I got to be up the next day. It's so bad. Like getting out, I got diagnosed with chronic adjustment disorder because, in part because they didn't want to give me PTSD because I didn't go down range.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so stressed out from having to always be at work and so scared to make a mistake that it would, you know what I'm saying, break the wheel somehow, that you know what I'm saying, I came out of it with mental health issues. But it's like, if some people, I don't know, got held over a basic, you know what I'm saying, you can't demonstrate basic, you can't demonstrate life skills, you know what I'm saying, maybe you need to stay behind, because it's
Yeah.
not enough to just teach you to shoot a weapon and do the actual soldiering part of that. You know what I'm saying?
So to me, what I would say for something like that, then we would be saying we need to change the age limit in which someone can come in. Because honestly, let's think about this now, right? I'm 32. How many 18-year-olds can demonstrate actual life skills on their own life skills, right? I would say 85% of 18-year-olds cannot demonstrate on their own life skills. Someone needs to teach them that. So then, to me, if that's the case, then we're saying, hey, look, a lot of these motherfuckers is gonna fail if we do a life skill assessment, right? So we need to up the age, like say 21, right? You're old enough to drink, you're old enough to, serve. But then how many people are cut? How much does that cut our forces by if we tell everyone that's under the age of 21 that they can't serve? How many people will want to join after the age of 21? I'm already in college.
I mean, I joined after 21, so I can't speak
But I'm saying,
for.
but I'm
Me
saying,
too.
not,
I was
Yeah.
me
it's not,
too.
it's
I
not,
was.
it's not very many. When you get in that platoon and you're like, damn, how many is actually over the age of 20? Out of a platoon of 90 people, there was maybe 6 that were over the age of 20. Out of 90 motherfuckers, everyone else was 18 through 20.
But the ones that do come in after 21 are the ones that you really don't have to worry about. The only crazy thing is that you fall into the fraternization, which is what I ended up falling into because my mental was sergeant's age. All my
Mhm.
sergeants were my age. So I would find myself connecting with them than the Lance Corporal or the PFCs because what do we need to talk about? What do we have to talk about? All you coming out here to do is fuck shit up. I'm like, no, this is a life thing for me. I need to make money. I need to be able to pay my bills. You don't even know what that's like. So when I start talking to the sergeants, now my peers are like, oh, she's a favorite. Oh, she got this going on. Oh, she's sucking up to the sergeants. No, I'm just talking to people that have the same mental capacity as me. And that's on the same level as me. But you have the ones that come in and you're like, all they want to do is, oh, let's go drink. Oh, let's go see who we can mess with. Oh, let's go see this. Oh, welcome.
Oh, thank you for finally making an appearance, sir.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I think
mic really
I
working
mean,
there.
so in my unit, I was, I guess, blessed with more people who were closer to me in age or life experience. So like one of my closest battle buddies was this dude named Ford, and he was like, I think he was like 19 coming in, but he grew up in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying, and in the hood, and his lifestyle was taking care of himself because he had to. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I think about people who was raised like me coming from an experience where at 16, I damn near know how to run a household because I had to, like, you know what I'm saying? My mother had to put me in that position. I think I know that the Department of Defense will never ever give up their sweet 18-year-olds. So,
No,
you know what I'm saying?
You're talking about cutting numbers drastically.
That's, I mean, not even numbers. At 18, you're just overall healthier and stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if
they can also persuade you to do more too.
Yeah, facts.
They can brainwash you a lot more than the ones, because I didn't know anything about the military coming in. And so when I was in boot camp, they was like, oh, you know, we do talk to y'all as recruiters. I was like, I thought y'all just threw us in and that was it. And when I got back, my recruiter was like, yeah, you used to get a whole bunch of bad marks. I was like what? Oh, you didn't adapt well. I didn't adapt well because I wasn't brainwashed.
So using that word brainwash, I wanted to use that as a topic, right? Because a lot of people believe that, like they truly believe that. As a matter of fact, even the fucking Air Force believes it because they won't let you join without taking a fucking mental health fucking assessment because they believe that, you know, it's for the most part, Marines and soldiers are fucking brainwashed, right? Now, I'm going to argue, and y'all are more than welcome to argue against me. I'm going to argue that it's not brainwashing, right? I'm going to say, and it's going to, I don't want it to sound contradiction, but I'm conditioning you for the worst. And the worst is Afghanistan, where you may or may not die. So I'm conditioning you for the worst. And I know that sounds far-fetched, but I'm telling you, people, there are plenty of people where you be like, oh, I'm not deploying. And as soon as you get to your unit, they saying, hey, guess what? I know you've been here 2 weeks, but we got a workup. We're going to do a workup for 6 months, and then your ass is gone. So you have effectively 6 months to turn an 18-year-old to someone that's not going to be a selfish shit, that when he gets forward deployed, he's not going to freeze up when shit gets real. And not halfway real, not like, oh, he going to stay back in the wire. Like, no, guess what? You're going on patrol. We're not going to give the grunts the fucking fucking minesweeper. Your ass is sweeping. Because we need the grunts to shoot. You know, they're special. So as a whole, as overall, right? Do you consider it brainwashing?
Yes.
Or would you rather say it's conditioning you for the worst to happen?
Conditioning is baby brainwashing.
I think
you have to be brainwashed.
You just don't like the word. It sounds like, but
if you're in the worst type of situation in Afghanistan, and like they told us this to our faces, the like lower enlisted, they said if a poison attack comes, we all have to take off our masks. The lower enlisted are going first. I mean, and that's it.
Listen,
there's no real debate about it. And I'm like, well, how do you decide that? Everybody in the room got a gun.
But I get what they're saying, because if I'm sitting here and we getting ready to get into some mess, I don't need you to ask questions. I need you to do what I told you to do effectively. But I think that is levels to it. I believe that there's levels that you can have to the point where if I feel like something is stupid and I should be able to speak on it outside of going to war. And I'm not in Afghanistan. I'm not in doing anything that's going to be detrimental to me and whoever is standing behind me. But you're not allowed to in the Marine Corps. If Gunny says you're not doing it, stop talking, no matter what it is that it is. It can be the smartest thing in the world. You can't say it.
Mm-hmm.
You
And that's brainwashing. I mean, right there. Just
not
facts.
only is it brainwashing, it's controlling.
It's control. It's control.
But
see,
then, like,
hold on. Let me. From a psychological perspective, there is not one thing you can do in this world that's not brainwashing. You might not like the word psychological programming. From the time you are born, you have been programmed, brainwashed for something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Religion.
over and over again, Brittany is telling Snugs to brush his teeth, right? And at some point he learns to brush his teeth or to go potty because they're working on that. He's learning, he's being programmed to go potty. Now, whether we deem what the programming or the brainwashing is good or bad doesn't really matter. Is it serving its objective? But anytime you put trauma, sleep deprivation, yelling, and intense physical strenuousness on the body while repetitiously giving us we got to memorize the rank from top to bottom, you know what I'm saying, while you're in basic, we have to memorize all this stuff within the Army or the Marines, y'all creed, our creed, we're learning all of this ways to walk, talk, and act. That is brainwashing 101. Like, it is the most in your face concept of brainwash. It just don't look like, a mad doctor with a TV saying, stare into the, the little spinning wheel.
What you think, Dawkins?
Nah, I agree with all of it. Like, everything that they said, like, it really is brainwashing. And I think the cold-hearted truth that we don't talk about the most, when we get out, EAS, they just throw us out. Like, you only got a certain amount of time to get out. Like,
now that I will agree with.
They don't take you through no mental training or none of that when you get ready to leave. They're like, hey, well, we'll need you no more. Oh, you ain't got no time to check out. That ain't our fault. Like, you ain't got no job? Or, hey, I don't know what to tell you.
Damn, bro, you just gonna be broke, huh?
Yeah. You ain't preparing yourself, it's over.
So y'all don't have like a program or like exit.
So we have a week.
Have to do.
We have a week that they give us a class, TRS, and you go for a week and you dress in business attire. They teach you how to write your resume, things like that. A lot of shit doesn't matter, to be honest, when it's getting out. Because I feel like, yeah, you teaching us how to get a job and stuff, but you're not teaching us how to rewrite what we've done. A lot of the times, the stuff that we've done does not matter.
So they gave y'all a resume versus help you make like actually.
No,
rewrite.
they help you build your own resume specific to whatever job you've done in the Marine Corps or whatever job you want to do when you get out. The issue is, for a lot of service members, is that our jobs don't correlate with outside world, right? So even when you get done doing whatever you're doing here, unless I leave I left the Marine Corps, I had to do exactly what I was doing inside of the Marine Corps because that's the only thing I have experience in. So I can't get out and be like, you know what? I want to become, a cyber technician. Now I want to do this. I want to do that. I've done a little bit inside of it, so I know a little bit about it. But when I get out here, they're going to be like, no, you need to go to school for that. Well, what the fuck have I just done for the last 10 years?
So,
we went through culinary school.
I got a little bit of a different experience with that. Like, we got what's called ACAP coming out of the Army, and they help us like turn our resume into civilian stuff. I always looked at it as, since I served in the military, everybody would kiss my ass, and that's pretty much been my experience. Like, I never what I'm saying is, I don't think I allowed any setbacks to like the. I think we just have a different. It sounds like we have a different mentality about that thing. I served in the military. I made sure that jobs that I was checking for valued people from the military, regardless of what we did.
So I think the difference is where we live prospectively,
Oh, that might be a
because
thing too.
Yeah.
they are in Texas and we're in DC. So being in DC,
Oh,
we're
the whole town is military in
Whole
DC.
town is
right, like
military.
it's government. So anything government, military, like they want you to.
Yeah.
So we have a different set of circumstances. Like you could say military here, and like
They be like, yeah, you're
McDonald's
hired.
accept you out the front door. Just
But I'm saying like Comcast, for instance, is everywhere, right? Like
Right. But out here, they be like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, you served in the Marine Corps. That's nice. What did you do while you were in? Oh, I was food service. Like, I did this. Oh, so you don't have any experience in customer service? I mean, well, yeah, I served. Okay, so you got experience in customer service. Do you have any experience in sales? No. You have any?
So
Depending on what
I was a
positions you
technician.
had.
I ended up being a cable technician. I didn't have any experience in that. I was I worked maybe on vehicles. Like I was a 91 Bravo. I understand how tech stuff works, but I didn't. What I'm saying is like, I think in a way you have to sell yourself a certain way. I'm just a talker, so I was able to use that to my advantage. I think I'm not trying to dismiss y'all's experiences. I'm saying that I think it's a little more nuanced, and it may be because of it might just be because of where we are. You know what I'm saying? That might be a thing.
Yeah. Because here they tell you, I mean, but what did you do?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I did. I think I have a different experience than Dawkins and Richard when it comes to food service. I was more of the admin. Even though I was a 3381, I did a lot more admin stuff. I did cash. I made sure uh, Marines were supposed to be my cashier, so I worked with employees. I can put that type of stuff on my resume. They can't really do that. Or I don't really know all of our Dawkins, but I know that Richard can't really put that. It's different areas that you can do, but going through TRS, they don't teach you that stuff.
Nah.
I also would say I came in at I was turning 23, and by 23 I had 10 jobs. You know what I'm saying? So I think the rest of my resume, in the sense of like having experience in customer service,
and that was another thing.
that.
I was 18 when I joined. I hadn't had a real job. Like I worked when I was 17, but I didn't have a real job where I have to apply like for some shit that means something. I got family to take care of, so I need to make some money.
right. The way the military wants you is like essentially you come in 17, 18 years old. So you've
With
never
no
really worked a job. You have no real experience. You have no real future beyond this. This is your best bet. College isn't going to work out for you. So you figure I might do it at some point. Jobs aren't really your thing because like McDonald's doesn't sound appealing, and being at your dad's job or your mom's job doesn't really fit you either. So you're like, might as well join the military, see what I'm made of. And that's where they get a lot of people. Like that's where a lot of people fall in the trap of, I don't know what I'm going to do. So this seems like the safe bet because I get my check the 1st and the 15th guaranteed.
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
3 meals a day guaranteed. It's a hot shower sometimes. Not always guaranteed hot, but it's a shower.
Oh, nonetheless.
It's a shower.
And if you're in the barracks nowadays, the motherfucker's hot. I guarantee you, if you're in the barracks now, that bitch hot.
Yeah.
The motherfucker's in a hotel.
And I mean, they give you clothes, they give you a place to sleep, like they take care of you, they tell you what your next orders are, and they do a decent job of preparing you for the steps they want you to take. It's just the disconnect between where they want you to be and where you want to be don't really match up. So that's where we have to find that way to bridge that gap ourselves. And you don't know you have to bridge that gap and learn it for yourself, because for so long somebody's been like holding your hand and walking you through it. So you're like, yeah, this feels great. You're telling me how to live my life.
But then you have to think. You have to think. Once you get out, you have to start thinking for yourself. A lot of people don't know how to do that. They barely know how to do that and they civilians, some are civilians. And then you walk somebody to the point of what time you wake up, where you need to be, what job you need to be, where you need to be. Oh, you got a doctor's appointment? Oh, don't worry about it. I will remind you to go to your doctor's appointment. I remind you that you need to go get your teeth fixed. I remind you that when you need to do this. And then when you get out, it's like, nobody's here to tell you that. No, you don't live with your mama. You don't live with Gunny such and such anymore. They don't write it down for you no more. And that causes mental problems on a
It
lot of
does.
people.
It
Yeah, I
does.
think it definitely causes dependency on a lot of things, and it definitely, unless you have that initial initiative to go get stuff done, a lot of people are just going to wait to do. They're like, oh well, nobody told me to go to school. Oh well, nobody told me to go do this. Like I'm like you're waiting on somebody to tell you what to do next. But I believe that only affects those that got out before taking on a leadership position. Because once you take on that leadership position, you kind of grasp onto the I can't wait for this motherfucker to tell me what to do. Like I need to make the plan because now it's up to me to make plans to tell them what to do. But Brittany asks, how do you feel being that young and being programmed in a way that affects your mental health in the long run versus being 23 or older? So I'll give you the
There's no
18
difference because trauma is trauma.
right.
Sorry, it's two parts.
I'll give you the 18-year-old perspective, right? I knew nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. I graduated June 9th. My birthday was July 18th. My ass was on a flight July 19th. I barely had a summer. It was 1 month long. And then I got on a flight and I landed in MCRD. And from that day, 10 years later, my life was do whatever they told you to do. And so coming out here, the only thing I knew was everything that I had done inside. Hey, you want something done? You might have to yell to get it done. But they don't yell out here. So I sound aggressive and or angry. But that's all I know. I don't know any other way to communicate when it comes to dealing with conflict, right? When it comes to jobs, and I'm talking, I'm not even jobs, right? This is just literally just me communicating
Just
with
civilian
family,
life, period.
just civilian life, communicating with people out in the world, communicating with my own family when I came back, make sure stuff like that. I was used to a strict schedule. Now I don't have that strict schedule. What the fuck do I do?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to get up and go to PT. Like I can just sleep in if I want to. Oh damn, that's where you get the weight because I'm not held to a standard anymore.
I
And
think it's
that's me. I've always been held to that standard, but now it's gone. That standard's gone, the way that they want you to do, but I've been doing this for so long, especially someone like me, because I did 10 years versus 4. Where I'm like, okay, this is all I know. So when I come in and we talking, my wife has stories from college and things she did before then while having stuff on the inside. Man, all my stories are military related.
I definitely can see how that is.
You know what I'm saying? All my
I
stories are
think
military related.
I
And
think I
with the
think
way that we behave, some of our stuff is very, very fucking inappropriate.
mhm.
So
Yes.
I really can't tell a lot of my stories because to civilians, they would be like, nigga, what is wrong with you?
Brittany PR checks Rich a lot behind the scenes, if y'all weren't aware.
Both Britneys. My wife, Brittany, she'll text me in the middle of us on live. Hey, you can't say that. Hey, stop saying
Rich
that.
has a whole squad
And
of
then
PR.
Britt will text it in the message. Hey, language.
Hey,
You
you're
can't
not
say
allowed to
that.
say that.
You can't say that.
Like we
I
have to
think
break it down to Rich a lot. So
with me and Brittany um, are different. What I think might be different from your experience, Rich, is that we went in after we had some life experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because when she said I didn't take to the brainwashing, I knew what she meant because I feel like ultimately that's why I got out because I just couldn't do the robot thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I liked being an individual to some degree. I didn't mind the dress, but it was certain things that I was just like, I can't the Kool-Aid, all right. You know what I'm saying? It's not that good for me to be drinking it like like it need a little more sugar. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think for me, what I think I experienced is I've been traumatized my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the hood, and I think the Army and my experience in the Army was just an extension of that trauma showing up in a different way. I would even say after I got out, I went through a lot of what Rich did, not necessarily in the like, let me yell to get stuff done, but I was so used to like, hurry up and, you know what I'm saying? Like, hurry up and move. Civilians are slow. If it drizzles, they're falling apart. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, I could not understand a lot of how people have been, even though I would be going home for 2-3 weeks on leave and stuff like that, it was messing my head up of not being in this certain type of way that I thought was better. You know what I'm saying? Because there were parts of being a Marine or soldier that I think is better. Like that level of cleanliness that you have to maintain, the level of respect to quote unquote higher up or authority in some type of way when it comes to achieving a specific goal, right? Like we're forced to work together. I can't complain about the fact that I don't like Jamal. You know what I'm saying? The National Guard dudes and reserve dudes, like, you know what I'm saying? I can't complain about that. I have to work with him to get a job done. And that's not how it was when I got out. And I was like, oh, that's a mind fuck.
Yeah. And I feel like with me, I went in with a mentality of your job is to yell at me. My job is to get yelled at. I'm cool with that. I do my job, you do your job. But I'm not going to sit here and kill myself either. Like, me and Richard met on a 9-mile run. Marine Corps pays me for 3 miles. That's it, that's all. At 3 miles, I dropped out because I'm not getting paid extra for this. This is dumb to me. And I'm like, I'm not going to do this. Why are we running 9 miles? Who is benefiting from this? Besides, I'm going to be tired and wore out. But the 18-year-olds, the 19-year-olds, they were hyped. Oh, I can run 9 miles. Oh, I can do this. Cool, do it. That don't make me, no, never mind. Because I don't get paid no more. We gonna get paid the same check. I'm gonna pass my stuff. We're going to be at the same level. And a lot of y'all, I still passed when it came to promotion.
They need to be a little dogged out a little bit before yours, too.
For one, mine was already dogged out from basketball and stuff like that. I had life. My knees wasn't good coming in. I'm not getting ready to make them worse. But people, they couldn't grasp that concept a lot of the times. It was, I have to be better than this person. I have to be this. I have to be that. And I'm like, no, I just got to be better than I was yesterday. Because at the end of the day, when I leave here, that's all that I have is me.
Yeah, I treated it the same way she did. Like it was a job. Like I joined at 22. It's like they're just getting paid to do this shit, you know. I think for me, it kind of started getting crazy when I got to the fleet because those hires control your time. They control your off time, or they call you back. It's like I don't know no jobs outside of the Marine Corps that does that, so it was kind of different. But
that's been my biggest thing is time, right? Like if they say, "Hey, look, you got to be to work," you know, schedule says you got to be to work at 9:45, right? I'm there 9:30. Because to me, time has always been a big factor. I'm here early so that I'm not late. But these motherfuckers, if they say the schedule say 10, a lot of these niggas is rolling up at like 10:05. And I'm not talking about regular employees. I'm talking about managers. They're like, well, yeah, we know we said 10, but it's 10:05, bro. Like
it was a suggestion.
What difference?
Mean it.
You was here early?
Now I'm irritated. I'm hot as fuck. Because I'm like, what the fuck you mean? If you meant 10, bitch, you should have said be here like 10:15. If it was a suggestion, because I've been sitting outside. I've been sitting outside for the last 30 minutes. waiting on you. And they be like, oh, my bad. And they go on about their merry fucking way.
Yep.
Dog. And they just pretend like you just supposed to be over it. Like you just supposed to be grateful for the job that I gave you.
Right.
And a lot of motherfuckers come in like, you should be glad that I even decided to show up today. Like, you be happy that I'm even in this bitch, because I could have just stayed home.
Like,
and I'm like, I wish I had the capacity to even think of you. Be glad that I'm even here in this bitch, because I could have just stayed home. Now, don't get me wrong. I've quit jobs 30 minutes into the job. I swear to God, I showed up at 8, and by 8:14, I was calling my wife. Yeah, this ain't it.
This one ain't going. This one ain't
coming home.
You beat my
I
record.
woke up good. I was like, you just went to work. Yeah, I'm on my way home.
I'm on my way home. I told old buddy, I was like, hey bro, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I walked straight out the door to my car and left. I didn't say nothing. I was gone. Because I just knew it wasn't gonna. They was running a plantation in that bitch. I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. I'm just gonna go ahead and show myself out.
That's what it sounds like when you see something else that runs like the military, but it's not the military. It's like, I'm good. Did this already. I'm out.
Yeah, this ain't it.
Well, actually, on the flip side, I worked at the VA. I worked in the kitchen at the VA, and it irritated me more because I'm working with veterans who, for some reason, have no goddamn sense of urgency. Now,
they were old.
They old. Yeah.
A lot of them were old. Yes. But I have always believed that you would still have the sense of urgency. Like, yeah, like, look, we know lunch started at 11. Maybe we should have it ready by at least 10:30 so we can get meals up and going. No, these niggas is pushing. It's 11:15. Lunch started 15 minutes ago, and we still not done. And they were so unbothered by being like, they didn't give a fuck. We don't care that we're late. We're gonna get paid
used to
either way.
They just used
I
to
think,
it.
yeah, they used to that. You just not getting out. You ain't caught up to them.
Yeah.
I mean, as I've been like, I guess I would ask how long y'all been out, but I've been out since 14. So I still have like some, I guess, anxiety or like, oh, I got to get there on time. I got to get there early. I'm going to get there. But at the longer and longer I'm out and I'm around people that don't have the same sense of urgency or care about things actually starting on time, like, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to still do my due diligence to get somewhere that I feel is important on time, but let me chill. You know what I'm saying? Because it eases my own stress.
I got out in 19, so it'll be 4 years. This May, it'll be 4 years. And I'm still... but switching topics, the topics we were supposed to have tonight, but some of our lovely guests could not make it because they did get busy.
Some of them crapping on me.
Yeah, some of them are active duty, so we do, shouts out to them, thank them for considering us. But they did get busy, so we couldn't do it. But as a member of the LGBT community, what was your experience like? And you joined. When did you join?
11. But wait, who said I was a member of the LGBT community?
Your friend.
Really?
She outed you.
Go ahead. Don't assume my sexuality.
And that's my question. And, so you joined in 11, which was after.
It was before.
It was before the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Mm-hmm.
The repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell happened in 2012.
Yeah.
Okay, so give us a little bit of the before and the after of that act and just your outlook on it, and then I'll give you the straight male's outlook on it. And we know that my outlook is probably ignorant, but go ahead anyway.
I mean, I don't offend easily at all. I probably am worse than you, but
probably, but rich is still rich.
We gotta watch what he say.
We don't want to get canceled.
I really want him to run it by me first before you say it.
So, babe, I have a thought.
Write it down. Let me okay it and then pass it back.
Right, we are unapologetically black here. So
you are unapologetically Richard.
Richard.
Hey, look, we are unapologetically black here. I'm not saying anything I say is not to be rude or condescending. It's legit my experiences and what I've witnessed. That's all I ever say and or give. It's just some people in the comments they get all
They get a little
fucking
bent out of shape.
they get all
You get
flabbergasted
better.
because and
Stand
upset
for
because
you
I
as you
don't like how
mentioned.
you say it.
I'm not gonna say nothing about it. Hey, we're gonna give you the mic, let you speak.
Go ahead.
All right, so I think so I will call I'm gonna consider myself a military brat in the sense that since I was about in the fourth grade, I've done many things military related, and I experienced the most. I'm gonna say homophobia or don't ask, don't tell ish uh, rules. Actually, before I joined the official military, so I did Young Marines when I was in fourth grade for a while. Um, High school, I did JRTC. Um, I even went to JRTC camp and had a situation as a LGBTQI, all the other letters person um, there. And then I was going to go to West Point. You know what I'm saying? If my grades permitted me, so I was like all into the idea of the military, but I didn't know it was as like as disorganized as it actually is. Um, but once I got in, like nobody cared for real. Like nobody cared. Nobody cared. Everybody like when I was in basic, one of the E7s, he was an E6 at the time. He pulled me and like other women who he thought was in the community to in his office or whatever, and was like, he would kind of like kick it with us, you know what I'm saying, like a little bit or whatever, and was basically like, we all need to stick together kind of thing. But I've actually never experienced any like discrimination or whatever as an actual service member. In fact, when I got married to my ex-husband, my first sergeant was like, that's interesting. he like took the paper from me and had his eyebrow up at me and was like, I'm gonna sign this shit, but Norris, something ain't right.
Somebody's lying.
I said, first time I'm in love.
Yeah, you sound just like that PFC that married that stripper. I'm in love. Yeah.
There's always one, right?
So I would say I have never witnessed. I will be 100%. I've never witnessed anyone outright be homophobic. I've never witnessed it. I've heard stories, but I've never witnessed it.
Yeah, same.
I would say though that they were in before I joined in 2009, so definitely a lot of people were not as forthcoming with their sexuality, especially men. They were not. They were just straight. Oh nah, bro. Like I've seen dudes go out of their way to show that they like women, just to prove that they were not gay. And for me, I've never had an issue with it. I mean, we all sit down, we talk shit, and during that time frame, we'll say things that you probably shouldn't say today. When having a conversation, and we thought, essentially, like, just that's like, hey, look, lad, like that's just how we talk. Like that's, we don't mean anything by it. That's just how we talk. And then it wasn't until 2014 that I started realizing, like, hey, like some of this stuff might be just a little bit offensive because more are starting to explain themselves, and they're starting to say, hey, look, this is who I am. Hey, the way you speak makes me uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And I look at them like, man, nigga, shut up, stop being gay. Those are the phrases that we
no. I think what happens is like there is a culture of the way we talk in the military. Like it's rough, it's ragged, it's crass, it's funny as hell. Honestly,
it's dark.
It's racist. It's technically, you know what I'm saying? It's technically racist. It's technically homophobic. It's technically all these things. Everything. But we are in this. It's like we're doing this thing together. What I think happened around 2014, and I can't speak for everybody. But one, if you're not secure in yourself for any reason, if anybody gets close to that insecurity you have, it's going to feel like a landmine, and it's going to feel like that person has ill intent. When we know most of the time, them jokes, some don't be gay jokes or whatever was around, it was kind of like pause. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff.
Right.
Whatever is what Trump say, locker room talk. You know what I'm saying, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas I think as the political landscape I feel like it's the LGBT community that's the problem. And I'm saying what I mean by that is I don't really consider myself that. Not because I'm not like you looking at me would say, oh, I'm because I'm a lesbian or whatever I am, I would be in that category, which is fine. But I'm talking about there is a subset or a superset of people who are LGBT online, and they are changing the climate of what it's like. Everything is offensive. Everything is offensive. Those are the people that I feel like are kind of, if we talking about brainwashing programming, they end up, no, you should be offended that he said don't be gay because you are gay and you can't be what you're not. And we're like, I get that that's what that literally means, but like nobody really meant that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna ask you because when I asked Jamal, Brittany, and my wife Brittany, they all said I was wrong.
Because you are wrong. And you were wrong. I had to go back and reread what you said, and you were wrong.
I can't remember what he said.
Hold on. I'm gonna put it in context. We were talking about Pokemon. We were not talking about a person.
Yeah.
We were not talking about anything like that. We were talking about Pokemon.
I didn't say you was wrong.
And they said, and for those who don't understand Pokemon, I'm sorry you won't understand this sentence, but you'll get what I'm going. They said that hey, a certain Pokemon is shiny locked, which means that you can't find it at its rarest form. I said, really? Damn, that's gay as fuck. Someone else said,
flag on the play.
Let me finish the story.
I didn't say you were wrong on that.
The Pokemon community. The Pokemon
hold on,
community.
let me finish the story, and then you can give everything else. I said that's gay as fuck. Someone else said language, and I said as fuck. And they were like, no, not as fuck. They said the entire phrase altogether. There's like that entire phrase together is offensive. I'm confused as shit. So at this point, so I don't go back and forth with them because the Pokemon group that we in is a bunch of LGBTQ people,
90%,
to take their livelihood serious as fuck.
It's not dramatic.
So I would say I'm gonna agree with them in the context of like I don't find that offensive. I actually find the fact that you said that's gay as fuck and we was talking about a shiny lock Pokemon hilarious, right? But it's like funny to me because shiny, you know what I'm saying? But what you're saying when you say that's gay as fuck, when you have an issue with something, is you're saying that thing is wrong or that thing is it's fucked up or whatever. Like that's the tonality of what you're saying. I would just think you were a 4-year-old and keep it moving, like laugh and like keep it moving. Whereas that's people,
the same shit I said to him.
Some people don't feel very charged about that, and I think it's stupid. But I can't tell you how to feel. You know what I'm saying? I don't go to bed with you, Rich. So why do I care what you think is gay as fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, sometimes I be trying to third, but you know what I'm saying? Like, overall, I'm not really interested in what anybody else got to say that live outside my household.
I think you should stop saying I'm straight. If that's gay as fuck is a bad context, and you saying I'm straight should also be banned as well.
Yes, I would agree. But I'm straight is normally like an affirmative versus a negative, which is the problem that people would have with that. And it sounds like a tit for tat argument where you sound immature. It's like, well, since I can't say this, you can't say it either. Again, me personally don't care. I just understand how people are thinking about
I feel like that's life in general. Most stuff are tit for tat. Because I can't do this, you can't do that. Because you can't do this, I can't do that. Because we're here, we're going to do this, or blah, blah, blah. That's most of life, me personally. Put that out there.
That's fair.
But I can see where everyone's coming from. I have since removed the message and have refrained from saying it. even at home. And at home, I'm uncensored
That
as
face
shit.
says you don't.
I haven't said
How
that
many
phrase.
that's gays he said today? How many?
I don't.
I've been
actually.
at work and haven't been around them, so I wouldn't know. But I'm pretty sure
It's
it's
none.
somewhere.
It's
But
none.
no, I mean, I get the whole thing. I look at it sometimes at the LGBTQ community as also like, and some would say this is not right, but as the Black community, it's certain things within the LGBTQ that they don't want us to say. Just like as Black people, we don't want to be walked around called colored. We don't want people to walk around and call people niggas. Now we can do that shit to each other, but we cannot do. We don't want Karen down the street to do the same thing.
I think there's a different. The difference is in being in this community is that I would like to say, like, I like how you framing it, but we eat each other up all the time. No homo. Can I say that? Can I say that? I don't know. but that's a, I guess. I mean, I made the joke. Whatever. Um,
I found it funny.
we police each other and what each other can and cannot say, and what's trans exclusive, and what's this and what's that, and
Mhm.
and I, Rich, to me, you got the license to say whatever you want to. And now it's gonna be different on a podcast where you have to kowtow to whatever the algorithm, you know what I'm saying, is saying,
There's a
or
there's a
other
clip
people.
out already where I explain that, and I'll let people know one more time. If you do not like what I have, the opinions of me are that of just me. I tell people that.
Did you read what Brittany said?
Yeah, not on my. Yeah, Brittany can kiss my ass. Uh,
I mean,
the opinions,
personally,
You feel bold
the
because she
opinions
in
of me
jail.
are just me. I say that. However, I'm going to speak the way that I believe things should be said. And if those do not like it, they can go watch another fucking podcast. You can go listen to somebody else. Because I'm not going to tailor what I feel like I have to say for you niggas. I'm not. If you want somebody that's going to penny pinch and be politically correct, listen to Jamal. He does that shit all the goddamn time. Listen to that nigga. But me, no, I'm not politically correct, and I'm not going to tailor it down to you understand it. I keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. I make sure I explain things on the lowest level possible. And sometimes using different words may require me to do that.
I believe that ain't always the case. I feel like when you take a platform, you do have to watch some of the things that you say
Mhm.
because of the audience that you keep. You not because today we might be the LGBTQ. Tomorrow might be a bunch of Black people. The next day might be a bunch of white people. By the time you get done, you've lost all viewers and you don't have nothing. And you can say stuff, but you have to. There's a way of saying it. I just told a girl that at work, you can say a lot of things, but you have to tailor it in a way that people might be like, wait a minute, did that motherfucker just call me stupid? Or he said something else, but this is after he's watched your podcast. So you've already got the views, but they have to go back and think about it, which will bring them
Mhm.
back. But you have not offended anybody because the last thing that you want is anybody to offend you or your family. So you shouldn't want to offend anybody else. I get it. Some things, especially with the LGBTQ, you can't say a lot of things. With the Black community, you can't say a lot of things that you want to say, but it's a way that you can say it. You can't always say, this nigga getting on my motherfucking nerves. This nigga is a bitch ass nigga. You can't always do that on everything. And you can't walk around saying that motherfucker gay as shit. You can't do that.
So here's where I would disagree. Um, I would disagree because there are, and we're talking about just in an entertainment space, right? Or just a personality space. There are people who take a certain personality and they do not change from that personality. That's who they are online, aka Charleston White, right? I think that's his name.
Yeah, and people
He's
want to
not
shoot him. I
his
don't want to get
viewers.
shot at when
He
I'm next to
caters,
you.
he caters directly to his viewers. He
Mhm.
don't give a fuck about If you LGBTQ, he don't give a fuck if you white, rappers, this, that. He says what he wants to say, how he wants to say it, and only goes for the viewers, for the people that will watch him as he speaks. Now, that's if you take on that personality. Where I believe I would lose people is if today I'm one way, and then the next day I'm this way, and then the next day I'm that way, and they're like, wait, what is your personality? Are you all like are you always like this, or are you only like this because certain people are watching, or are you only like this because this other person is watching, or are you like this all the time?
But that's where I was getting ready to discuss is if you have a podcast that does not care, that's one thing. But this podcast, y'all have a lot of June, y'all did the appreciation of the LGBTQ. You also did for Juneteenth the appreciation of Black people and everything that we represent. So therefore, to me, yes, you have to watch what you say on this podcast. I'm not talking about any other podcast. I'm talking about this one because this is the one my husband is on, and I don't want him kicked off.
But that's what that's where I'm disagreeing, because the name of the podcast is Unapologetically Black. It doesn't say I'm only no, hold on. It doesn't say I'm only Black to cater to these people at this time frame. No, it means that I could be on any spectrum of being Black, not just over here, not just right here. I'm on all the spectrums. I can do it, and I can appreciate people.
The comments.
It doesn't say unapologetic an asshole, but I'm on the spectrum.
Listen, Rich. I'm on
Black
your
people
side.
are assholes. It's on the spectrum. You can be an unapologetic black asshole.
Rich, I'm on your side. I'm on your side. I feel like if there was, I honestly feel like there needs to be there needs to be somebody who's
so
pushing buttons. I absolutely do. Now you do have to cater to YouTube. And I don't mean necessarily your audience. That's what I'm talking about. I think
if you're trying to
we allow Rich to be rich.
You have to watch.
But I don't think anything we do spews hate.
Right.
But you know, so they obviously I understand. We're gonna keep it in the realm of obviously understanding that you cannot spew hate. You cannot say, I want to.
Right, but see, these days it's like, what is hate?
Everything is hate.
What is hate? Because
everything
if I say something like, I don't think that you should have celebrated LGBT people on Juneteenth, somebody would take that as hate. Somebody would take that as hate. Somebody would take offense to that statement without caring why I believe that or why I would say that. I know a lot of my views are controversial. One, I study a whole lot. And most people don't know anything. They only know what they told. So when you say something that's counter to what they believe, it causes offense. And some people label that hate. It's such a fine. What I've been trying to say is there's such a fine line between what's offensive and what's not. Who's gonna find offense? Who's not? I'm not telling you to fly off the handle. I'm just saying I think that all voices that are in the space are valid and appreciated because they speak to different people who show up for different things. Not everybody in your audience is here to hear Jamal in the way that Jamal speaks or thinks. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's coming from me as a content creator, because even though I haven't done anything in almost a year, I got a YouTube called It Be Your Own Self where I talk about spirituality. And the way I was speaking at the time was I was damn near cussing you out because I think some of that religion stuff you do is silly based on what I study. You get what I'm saying? But I don't have that tonality now. I still might call you stupid, like Brittany said, in a different way.
All voices are accepted. All voices, all spectrums. That's what it means to be black. It means that on every spectrum, that's where we're at. And just because I'm on the left, don't mean nothing.
So
don't mean like, no, Rich,
I
bring
mean,
your
it's
ass
good.
back to the right.
It's good conflict. It's good conflict. It's not. It's good conflict. You have to have somebody to argue with.
Yes.
Reality TV is best known for it. You gotta have somebody to hate or somebody to draw up.
Okay. it has been I'm being told to wrap up because we have been going
Yeah.
for quite a bit.
We've been on for an
I
hour. I've
didn't
been
even
trying to
notice
wrap
that.
this
No,
up.
no, no, no.
Get
Excuse me, sir.
controversial.
We have been on for an hour. You have been on for 20 minutes. I don't
I showed up before you. I was here early. I got here on time. The army showed up early.
Is it broke?
Ooh, they ain't did nothing. We still got to come in and bust.
I was
cap
5
on.
minutes
What's
early.
up?
But
I
like
was 5
always,
minutes early. And I
these
got roasted. All I got
these-
told was my headphones don't fit. It's too much space. Why my head's so big?
It was like that much space between your head and those headphones.
These are my
But anyway,
headphones too.
like
I
always,
hurt.
these episodes are brought to you and sponsored by RDI Financial, where you can get all your credit needs fixed. You know, so if you know that Halloween is past.
Christmas.
The holidays. No.
Thanksgiving,
We're just gonna
Man
say
is in
the
a time
holidays.
machine right now.
We don't want to offend people. So just the holidays, Jamal.
Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
Thanks for the
Some
holiday.
people don't celebrate the holidays, Rich.
Right.
The seasons are
That's
coming.
Friendsgiving.
The season of coldness.
The seasons of spending all your money and you need credit to fix this shit. That is coming up, people. So if you need it done, and yes, most black people need it done, go ahead and give me a call at RDI Financial. We go ahead and get you straightened out so that way you can move into that apartment without paying that massive deposit. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. It's been a fun night, even though Dawkins sat there and just stared at us
and laugh.
Hey, I don't like being rude. You know, when they got good points, I let them talk. You know, right where I'm from, we won't over talk people, so I just like to wait for everybody to get their stuff out. You know.
Well, we'll get you back next time, and I'll make sure I show
we
up.
We got to get you on a toxic masculinity episode. See what you think.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, thank you guys. You guys have a great night. Be safe out there in Facebook land, and we love you. Out.
All right. Thank you all. See you on Saturday.